I went to the War of the Spark pre-release. What about you? Let's check out what I got. Hey everyone, it's vmcampos, Magic fan. So I went to the War of the Spark pre-release on Saturday, and I had a really fun time. I went to 138 Comics in La Mesa, California, and I got my pre-release pack. I cracked everything, I made a deck, I played a few games, and it was really cool. So of course I was part of the early access streamer event, and thank you again Wizards of the Coast for that. And then it was really cool to play War of the Spark on the pre-release with real people. Well, they were real online, of course, but you know what I mean. Okay, so let's check out what I got. First of all, the big money stuff, and then the deck that I made, and then we'll talk about what I got. Okay, so rares and mythics and stuff. You know, I'll start off with these that are not that valuable. Single Combat, Living Twister, Tomik, Distinguished Advokist, Samut, Tyrant Smasher, Teyo, the Shieldmage, Kazmina, Enigmatic Mentor. I got a Kaya, Bane of the Dead, Arlen, Voice of the Pack. Okay, getting a little bit more valuable. Liliana's Triumph. This one is a nice little instant. My pre-release items were Arlen, Voice of the Pack. Ooh, check out, so shiny. So not that valuable, but it's the pre-release version. And then I got the Mizium tank, so really cool that they give you a rare plus a Planeswalker in premium. Look at the gold on her outfit, really nice. Let's get a nice good close-up right here. Look at that, nice. And then the tank as well, so cool. Okay, then we're moving on up to Tamiyo, Collector of Tales. So I cracked her in one of the packs, a foil one. Again, very cool premium card, nice foil. I like the accoutrements that are in foil standing out. Wizards of the Coast down there at the bottom, nice. Then we've got one of the Zombie God Eternals. I got Ronas. Rest in peace, those Eternals, but they're quite powerful. So I got one of those. I got a Blast Zone, rare land that lets you destroy things. Very cool. The most valuable card that I got was Ugin the Ineffable. Just do not F with him because he is an amazing Planeswalker. You can destroy things, you can +1 him to get more stuff from your library into your hand. Really cool card advantage right here. Very happy with this card. I also got a foil Swamp. Now this is the one you want because this is the one of the panorama that everything leads to this. This is the one in the center. And then of course with the foil treatment, this is just epic. So I got some of the other lands, part of the panorama leading up to that. And here's the one in blue and so forth. So that's nice. And then I also got the saddest card of all, Heartwarming Redemption, Gideon's RIP card. Beautiful. I got 2 of those, actually. Alright, so here's the deck that I put together. I ended up with Boros. And so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 planes. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mountains. Okay. Then in the 1-drops, I have 2 Grim Initiates. I love this little guy. It's a 1/1 for 1 first strike. And when it dies, you amass 1. So it creates one zombie army after this. And this can get bigger and bigger. So 2 of those. Then I've also got Samut's Sprint. So 1 casting cost instant. Target creature gets +1 +2 +1, and then you scry 1. Okay, so you make something bigger instantly and you get to scry. That's in the 1-drops. In the 2-drops in red, I've got a Chandra's Triumph. 2 mana, instant, deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. and it deals 5 damage if you control a Chandra Planeswalker, which I don't, so this would do 3 damage. Then I've got Jaya's Greeting, 2 for 3 damage to target creature only, but then you scry 1, so you get to see what's coming up. 2 of those. In white, my 2-drops are a Martyr of the Cause, 2 mana, 2/2 human soldier, and when it dies it proliferates, so that can help build up the army, because it has counters, and proliferate lets you add counters. So 1 of those. Then I've got a War Screecher, 1/3 flyer. Flyers really helped out during my matches, so here's a 1/3. But wait a minute, 6 mana. Other creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. So I would bump up my creatures pretty well when I had the mana later in the game at the cost of tapping this little guy, but +1/+1 to everything was really nice and a good blocker. And then Tomik, Distinguished Advokist, double white mana for a 2/3. Now by itself this is cool, 2/3 flying, because the abilities in here I didn't really think were that great in the format. Lands on the battlefield and land cards in graveyards cannot be targets of spells or abilities your opponent controls. Your opponents cannot play lands from graveyards. Okay, so sorry, we shut down your Crucible of Worlds, but irrelevant in this format. But a 2/3 flyer for 2 mana in double white I think is really cool. In the 3-drops in red, we've got an Ahn-Crop Invader, a 2/2 Zombie Minotaur Warrior. How can they possibly fit all of that in there? As long as it's your turn, Ahn-Crop Invader has first strike. Nice. 1 and sacrifice another creature. Ahn-Crop gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So if you sacrifice something else, like perhaps your Willing Martyr, which will then increase your army, that's a good combo. And then this becomes a 4/2 first strike. I got a lot more in white in the 3-drops. So Makeshift Battalion, 2 of them. It's a 3/2, and when it attacks with at least 2 other creatures, put a 1/1 counter permanently on her. So this can get pretty big, and it was getting big when it attacked with more buddies. So then we move on to the Trusted Pegasus, 2 of these, 2/2 flyer, which gives another creature flying when it attacks. So imagine these battalions attacking in the air, riding the Pegasus, 2 of those. Topple the Statue was useful, 3 mana, instant, tap target permanent. If it's an artifact, destroy it. So I destroyed my opponent's artifacts a couple of times, but this was more useful to slow them down before their attack, tap out their creature, or better yet during my attack, tap out their creature. Then you draw a card. Card advantage is good. And then here's the first Planeswalker. 3 casting cost, Teyo, the Shieldmage, one of the newest Planeswalkers. So 5 loyalty, static ability, you have hexproof. Didn't really seem to come up that often, but hexproof is nice. And then you create some walls. So you'll get 2 walls out of Teyo, 0/3 defenders. So some nice defense there at the 3-drop slot. At the 4-drop, I've got 2 cards. I really like the Goblin Assault Team, 4 mana, 4/1 haste. So these little guys attack 4/1 right away. And if it dies, you put a +1/+1 counter on something else. So okay, it served its purpose. Maybe it took out something with a 4 power, but then it gave its +1 to something else. Plus, the art is an epic win. Look at this beautiful art. All of these goblins in all of the clan gear. There's an Izzet one, a Boros one, a Gruul one, etc. I love that art. The other card in the 4-drop slot is the Heartwarming Redemption, the saddest card in the whole set. 4 mana, red, white, and 2 more instant. Discard all the cards in your hand, then draw that many +1. You gain life equal to the number of cards in your hand. So you gain a little life, and if you have nothing to discard, okay, well at least you get 1 card plus life. I did it one time where I discarded, I think 3? Yeah, it was 3 lands that were completely useless in my hand. So I got 4 cards for this casting cost plus life, which was 4 more life. This was nice. In the 5-drops, we've got Sarkhan's Catharsis, 5 mana, instant. Deals 5 damage to target player or planeswalker. I use this to take a really big bite out of my opponent in the later game. 5 damage for 5 mana. Could use it for planeswalkers as well, very valuable. 5-drop in white gives me a 3/4 flying griffin. So really good defense, good flyer, good attack, good griffin. in the 6 drops. Okay, at the top end we've got a Sunblade Angel. This was like a game-ending card. 3/3, flying, first strike, vigilance, lifelink. If they didn't have air defense, that's a big ol' attack. It has vigilance, ready to keep protecting you. Lifelink, it gets your life going up. And first strike, this was amazing. Very high casting cost, but later on in the game, this was a game ender for me. What was also valuable in the 6 drop was Kaya, Bane of the Dead. So that's 6 mana in total, 3 and 3 Orjav mana, so either white or black mana. You get a 7 casting cost Kaya, Planeswalker. Your opponents and permanents your opponents control with hexproof can be the target of spells and abilities you control as though they didn't have hexproof. So it turns off hexproof, which wasn't that relevant in this format, but -3, exile target creature. Okay, so you have 2 chances to exile 2 creatures that are causing your opponent trouble, and I know this one was totally valuable for me during my games. Big ol' casting cost, but 6 casting cost towards later on in the game. And lastly, another bomb card, the other one that really helped me, Ugin, the Ineffable, 6 casting cost, 4 loyalty. Colorless spells you cast cost 2 less. I didn't have any real colorless spells, any artifacts, so it didn't really help me. But +1, exile the top card of your library face down, and look at it so you know what you got. You create a 2/2 colorless spirit creature token. And when it leaves the battlefield, put the exile card to your hand. So you can make all these little 2/2s to help you block or attack. And when it dies or gets exiled or somehow gets removed, you get the card that it's holding on to. So massive card draw. Or -3, destroy target permanent that's 1 or more colors. So this also helped me to get rid of my opponent's problems with that -3. So this worked out really well. Love the art on that, and that was a great card. So there you go. That was my pre-release War of the Spark haul. The cards that had some value. The deck that I made. I ended up actually going 2 and 2, so a perfect 500, a 0.5 win rate. I won 2, I lost 2. It was actually exactly 2-0, 2-0, 0-2, and 0-2. So the deck either really worked or it didn't. The games where I won, I think it was pretty decisive. The games where I lost, it was pretty close. And shout out to Billy, who actually was a young player who was really good. He really gave me a run for my money. Daniel was another old timer that was playing, so it was cool to meet up against him. And shout out to 138 Comics for hosting the pre-release. If you liked this video, don't forget to click like, comment below how I could have increased, how I could have improved the deck. Did you go to your own pre-releases? Tell me all about it in the comments. Don't forget to head on over to patreon.com if you like my videos. Think about joining the crew for $1 to gain access to exclusive stuff and also to keep me going. Every little bit helps. At the $2 range, I'll mail you some vintage Magic cards. What a deal. This has been vmcampos, and I'll see you at the next pre-release.